From the BzG studio in the Mission Dolores district, right in the heart of San Francisco, it's BzG News with Barrett Courtney.
Thank you so much over there. Thank you to the book readers, the telephone readers, the telephone readers. What's up, everybody? My name is Barrett Courtney, and this is BzG News. Yes, it is BzG's weekly show where I round up all the important nerdy news and give my take on it. Yes, it is the show that Sean Pitts praised for having the best intro ever of all time. Loose quote. It's actually not what he said at all. He giggled at it. So cool. Guys, I'm glad to be back. I need BzG News. I need to talk about these things. A lot of important things this week, much like... Well, it seems that the rumored PS4.5 is now rumored to be codenamed Neo. Earlier this week, Giant Bomb released specs for the machine showing upgraded GPU, CPU, and RAM, whatever the fuck those things mean. The upgrades will help improve frame rate stability and also output in 4K. And according to these same reports, developers will now have to release their games with two different modes. One where it will run on the PS4 and one where it will run on the Neo. Sony has yet to confirm anything and no developer has made any comment, but I grabbed this tweet which I think sums up very nicely the overall feeling of this news. Colin Moriarty at No Taxation tweeted, quote, "A trusted source tells me most developers are not happy with PS4.5 and having to develop around it. Extra costs, planning, and other nonsense," unquote. Yes, this is... We talk about this a lot more in the upcoming episode of Talking Shit, but this is, I think, a weird move for Sony, and seeing it be developed more. I talked about this news a couple of weeks ago, I think, but this is sort of the first big wave of news that we're getting of getting more of a taste of what this machine really is. It seems like a half step to PlayStation 5, if we even get PlayStation 5. I just read earlier that Shuhei Yoshida might be not that confident in having a PlayStation 5. So it's weird to see that consoles are starting to step towards what PC games are now. Is it just going to be we're going to get PS4 Neo this year, and then a couple years later we get PS4 fucking who's another character from that movie? What's the movie even called? Inception, right? That's the movie? No. What's the movie? What's the movie with Neo where he has to take the blue pill, red pill? Matrix. Who's the guy? Morpheus. There you go.
Lawrence Fishburne.
They'll probably they'll call it no. That's the weird thing is before PSVR was even named PSVR, it was called Project Morpheus. They've got this whole theme. Someone recently got really into the Matrix trilogy. Anyway, yeah, you guys are a bunch of fucking nerds. But anyway, it's just. I honestly think it's a bad idea. You'll be able to see more of my thoughts on why it's a bad idea on the next episode of Talking Shit. But really, I don't understand who they're trying to appeal to. Obviously, the developers aren't behind this. It would have made sense if the developers were begging for better hardware, but they're not. They're obviously sort of pissed about this, according to Colin Moriarty at least. And then no people in the gaming sphere was like, no, we need a better console than the PS4 because the PS4 is the fucking best hardware console that we've had. And so no one was asking for this, and there will be people who will upgrade to the Neo when it's inevitably released, but then your general audience out there, not your hardcore people, your general audience, half of them are going to be like, no, not really, and so you're going to bite the bullet on one of two things. You're going to bite the bullet on the sales of the base PS4. You're going to bite the bullet on the sales for the new PS4. And I honestly think it's going to be the second one. So what's the point of even making this if not a lot of people are going to buy this new one? So that's honestly, it's a confusing move by Sony. I'm sure we'll talk much more about it once we know more about it. But until then, let's move on to some more PlayStation news. If you own a PS4 and you hate all of the new games coming out and wish there were more PS2 to PS4 games, well, if this report is correct, Max Payne should be available to buy today on the PSN store. If that isn't correct, well, it'll probably be coming soon. It's been a thing reported for the last week or so. I'm not a huge Max Payne person. I think I played Max Payne 3 or whatever, the one that came out on the last generation, for a little bit. Yeah, and it was all right. Nothing stood out to me, but if you're a Max Payne fan, want to go back to the original for the PS2, there you go. Probably out today, if not, maybe soon. I say that because this is a report of something that might happen, and there's another story in here that's a report that might happen, but probably won't, because fucking reports that I seem to care about are always incorrect. So, but I'm just saying, Max Payne might be out today. Now, anyway, on to the most important news this fucking week. 2K has finally put a release date on Mafia III, which will be October 7th, 2016. This announcement was released alongside a new trailer, which gives a little more context of what the moment-to-moment gameplay is and what the story is about. If you didn't know, Mafia III follows Lincoln Clay, a black Vietnam veteran who has had no family with the exception of the mob. After the Italian mafia attacks and kills most of the people Lincoln cared for, he is on a mission to hit the mob where it hurts the most, their wallets and their faces. I think that's a pretty good summary of what that game's going to be. Yeah, this is going to be a game. The city they call, like in the game, they call it something else, but it's basically New Orleans in the late 60s. And Lincoln Clay is going after the Italian mafia for killing most people that he has grown to care about. And I think this is a very, very important game. And I was so fucking scared because this was announced at Gamescom. The trailer that was used for the announcement trailer at Gamescom was fucking awesome. And for a bunch of different reasons, just like the subtle, like, who the fuck is this Lincoln guy, and like what is going on here. And I love sort of, I'm pretty sure people who have been used to Mafia 1 and 2 probably saw, when they first saw Lincoln, they were probably like, oh, that's probably the bad guy, because, you know, we always play, you know, the Italian mob. But then no, it fucking turns on you and you're playing Lincoln. And I think that's awesome. I think that's important. I don't think we have had a lot of AAA games, even in like a recent history, that have you playing as a black man. I don't think there's a lot. Like the two that I can think about are both Grand Theft Auto games, and they're both very super fictional to the point where they make some comments on like justice and race comments and whatnot. But I think this is going to be a very interesting story, not only about like cool Italian fucking mob mafia bullshit, but also just like what the racial split was because of the setting that we're in, because it's the 1960s, because it's New Orleans. And I'm so fucking excited. And I was really nervous that they were just gonna, you know, just sort of throw this away, because we've heard nothing since the announcement. And after that announcement, a lot of you racist motherfuckers out there was like, oh, we gotta play as a black guy, the series is dead to me. And that fucking, like, that makes me so upset, you know? Like, we're trying to bring the video game medium into, we're trying to play catch up, basically. Like, movies are slowly finally starting to diversify characters in movies, and we're trying to play catch up with that. And again, this is, I think, one of the first games probably since Grand Theft Auto 5 that has you playing as a black man. So yeah, I think it's a really important game, and I'm so glad they decided to, like, I was scared. I thought, like, all of you fucking racist people on the internet are like, oh, we gotta play as a black man. If you don't want to play as a black man, fucking whatever, I guess. But, you know, it's not like they're fucking forcing you to play this game. You know, you have a million other fucking games where you play as a white guy. Go fucking just play all the Assassin's Creed games, okay? So it's just fucking just let people have this, you know? Because here's the thing, and I was actually reading a piece, I think, on Kotaku about one of the writers from Kotaku is like embarrassed to like play or be associated with a lot of black characters in video games because they're hyperbolized. You know, there's always something that focuses on like what makes black people like black, you know? And I honestly think this might be the first time that we get a well-rounded fictional like black character and put into a story that has to do a lot with race and the stigmatization of like black people in that time. And I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy they decided to go through with this. And I'm definitely going to be playing this game in October. I'm sure more people, like, again, it's the whole, like, oh, we got to play as a black guy. You know what? Fucking, if you don't want to play as a black guy, play fucking Gears of War 4. All right? So shut the fuck up. Mafia 3 already, for me, on the Game of the Year watch. Hopefully it plays well, but from what I've heard, it does. So anyway, enough of my fucking ranting about race, which probably even, you know, me fucking fighting for diversity, people will probably be mad at me because I'm a white guy. Anyway, after hearing J.K. Simmons was going to be in the new Justice League movie, Willem Dafoe decided that he's also going to be in the movie too. As who? We don't know. Do we care? Not really. Sorry, there's a lot of cuts in this episode. A lot of weird shit is happening while we record this episode. But just to let you know, if we blow up in the middle of this episode, I apologize. But anyway, yeah, Willem Dafoe, we've got another actor associated with Spider-Man. I would love to hear in like a couple of weeks, like, Tobey Maguire also voices interest in being in the new Justice League movie. And then the new Justice League movie just slowly forms into a fucking other Spider-Man movie. Whatever. He'll probably play someone that we don't care about, especially for me, because, you know, DC movies are sort of fucked right now. I don't think I don't think like announcing Willem Dafoe is going to be in the Justice League movie is going to be like, whoa, oh, I'm really excited for that. Another old guy like J.K. Simmons, even though J.K. Simmons is way better. Whatever. But anyway, in more movie news, The Jungle Book demolished the box office this weekend, reining in a total of $103 million domestically. Barbershop, The Next Cut was a close second with $20 million. After that, the 90th Melissa McCarthy movie to come out in the last 3 months. The Boss came in third with $10 million, and in fourth came Batman v Superman with only $9 million. A couple of reasons I wanted to talk about this. Jungle Book has been getting high praise. So if you're looking to see like another iteration or another telling of this story, go see it. Everybody I know who has seen it has given it praise. So, and it's also the director from Iron Man 1. Shit, I always forget his name. He played Foggy Nelson in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movies. But anyway, Jon Favreau. There you go. He directed this one, and a lot of people are loving it. So if you're looking to go see like what I hear is a really good movie, you should probably pay attention to that. But also, because I talked about it a couple weeks ago, was paying attention to Batman v Superman and how that does. It is really fucking like just fucking spiraled down. Like it had high fucking first weekend earnings, and then not that great second weekend, and now it's just fucking it's done. It's dead. And I know it's been about a month since it's been out, but I feel like Avengers had a more of a stronghold. I think Avengers was pretty consistent for 4 or 5 weeks, when, you know, Batman v Superman was consistent for like 1 week. So I mean, honestly, that's what happens when you make a shitty comic book movie. And that's the thing, is people like to complain of like, oh, like, we're just getting, like, there's just too many comic book movies. But you know what? There have been a lot of comic book movies that are good, that are really good. And the box office shows that. And people who are sick and tired of seeing comic book movies, I think what's going to happen is you're going to stop seeing bad comic book movies. I think this was like the final straw, I believe, for the nerdverse of like, hey, you got to take care of these characters. So hopefully the future of DC movies will, you know, they'll pay attention. Like, oh, maybe we should actually put quality into this and not, you know, come out with 10 of these in fucking how many years because we need to play catch up with Marvel. But anyway, the last, certainly not the least, and it's the most important news to myself, but it's not the most important news. The most important news was Mafia 3. But this news still makes my balls tingle a little bit. Eurogamer was recently sent an email by a GameStop employee which contains leaked information on an upcoming Batman Arkham collection for this console generation. It will apparently include updated versions of Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City with all of their DLC. The report also said that the release date would be June 10th, 2016, with pre-orders going live April 19th. When this was reported, When this was first reported, it seemed like an actual announcement would be imminent, but WB has yet to officially announce anything. Yeah, that's the little concerning thing. We heard about this on Monday, and I was like, oh shit, they're definitely going to announce something tomorrow, because part of the leak was pre-orders start April 19th. And then Tuesday came by and nothing really happened. And that's my brain went to one of like two different ways of like, okay, this was fake, or and I was talking to Alex O'Neill from Irrational Passions about this. Irrational Passions, go check out their stuff. IrrationalPassions.com. I'm wearing one of their shirts. The thing I was talking about him, and like after talking to him for a little bit, I was like, oh, it was probably just a placeholder date, and maybe they just had to, maybe last minute just had to push the announcement and the pre-order date back maybe a week or two. And people like Alex say like the timing for this release doesn't make sense. Would have made much more sense if this came out last year before Arkham Knight. So you know people, you make sure people have played it, so when they go into Arkham Knight they're not confused as fuck or whatever. But my sense and the thing I predicted from the get-go was they're not going to do this around Arkham Knight. They're going to do this a year later, literally a year after Arkham Knight comes out, and be like, you played the last chapter 1 year ago, and now be prepared to revisit the first two chapters of the Batman Arkham story. So I think it makes sense. I think the date makes sense. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, because we record this on Wednesdays, hopefully by the time you're watching this, something has been confirmed. But as of yet, nothing has. And the one thing people are criticizing about is why the fuck isn't Batman Arkham Origins in this collection? And sort of, I was thinking about this, because Colin Moriarty likes to make the excuse of, oh, like Rocksteady likes to use the excuse, it's not part of their trilogy. Well, you know what? It wasn't. And that's the thing, is that Rocksteady, before Arkham Origins was even a thought, it was actually before Arkham City was even finished, Rocksteady was already like paying attention to like, okay, what's this last chapter? What's this next like final piece? And they're already sort of working on concepts of Arkham Knight. They were already planning a trilogy, and it was really WB who went in and was like, hey, you guys are taking really long to come out with this game. We're going to give this engine to someone else so we can come out with a placeholder game. So I honestly, like, if this was Rocksteady maybe possibly working on this, I would understand, like, hey, these are our releases, so here, play them again. We fixed them up a little better, and we made them look a little prettier. But then you got to think, Rocksteady's probably not even working on that. It's probably WB probably gave someone else to work on it, to port it, basically. And so if you look at it, if WB is like the front runner on this, if Rocksteady isn't involved whatsoever, it is interesting to see like why did they decide to not include Arkham Origins? You know. So it's a weird thing. I didn't hate Arkham Origins, but to be honest, like, the gameplay is stale. The world is very empty. But the story is very good. It's a really good Joker story. And like I understand why people might not like it or why people love it and whatnot. But that's the thing, is like all of these people are fucking up in arms about why isn't Arkham Origins in this fucking rumored collection? But you know what, motherfuckers? Y'all were fucking down on the game when it first came out, okay? So just fucking with the revisionist history, all right? Don't fucking bitch and complain about the game, and then when there's a rumored fucking HD collection, you're like, but where is it? I bitched and complained about this game for like a year, but where is it? Where is it? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of BzG News. I'm sorry for all the cuts. A lot of weird shit's been happening. Thankfully, we didn't blow up in the middle of this episode, so, you know, I can live long enough to edit this episode. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember, BzG News is up every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join me next week for some more nerdy news. And until then, stay nerdy. Thank you so much, people still on their phones. It's great. You're wonderful. You're the new millennials, because, you know, millennials, asking them to turn off their phone is like asking them to cut off an arm and a leg, because, you know, I'm the head of AMC Theaters, and I'm a fucking dumbass.
Shut up!